People fun, which is fun from competition, cooperation with others. We've had easy fun, we've had hard fun. Now I'll give you an example of people fun and the kind of activities that go into people fun, right? Um, we're going to play one game. This is a game that I'm sure all of you have used and played in the past. We'll just try and apply it in a virtual setting. That's all. It's called Escape from Gilligan's Island. This it's a very old game. I think it was first invented in the 80s or 70s, if I'm not mistaken. The game is called Escape from Gilligan Island, and the point of the game is this: you're shipwrecked on a remote island with a few friends, and you have to escape from this island very soon. All right. How have you been shipwrecked? You've been shipwrecked. It's morning. Look at the picture. It's morning. It's during the day. You are in this island for less than a day now, but you have a few resources. You have to use that and get out of this place very quickly. A few key phrases. It's a remote island, which means there is no civilization anywhere close by. Okay. No one is around. If you had to swim from here, you would not reach land. If you had to take a boat and try to sail by yourself, it's very hard. It would take a lot of time, right? So that's the meaning of a remote island. And it's early, it's in the morning that this has happened. How can you escape? There are a few ways. I'm going to give you some of those ways now on the screen, and you will have to rank those ways with your team and give your team the best chance to escape. So this is a group activity. I'll be putting you in breakout rooms. You can discuss which ones you're going to do first, which one you will do second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Make the right choices because your life and the life of your team depends on your decision. Okay. What are your options? These are your options. You can repair your ship. Your ship is called the SS Minnow. You can repair it and you can set sail yourself. That's one thing you can do. Remember, it's a remote island. 2, you can use the raft that was constructed by the skipper. A raft is a small boat that you can use. It was constructed by the captain, and you can send one of your teammates. Her name is Marianne. You can send Marianne for help. Okay. That's the second. Third, you can rebuild the control tower and signal ships going by. So you have a control tower in that island. You can spend your time, you're not technically savvy, but you can figure it out. You can learn how to rebuild that control tower and you can signal the ships that are going by. Fourth, you can spread some of the professor's fluorescent dye on the water. The professor has some fluorescent dye. Fluorescent dye will glow in the dark. So you can spread it on the water. Okay. As a way to attract other planes and ships that might be coming to rescue you. People know that you have gone away. So there will be a rescue attempt. Okay. Please remember this also. People know that you are away. There will be a rescue attempt. 5. One of your teammates, his name is Howell. He has golf clubs. Thin, long golf clubs. You can wave them around and hope that ships far away can see it. Planes high above can see it. The island you are in has some gold mines. You can use the gold from there as a reflector and you can reflect with the sun to signal planes. You can create a musical instrument from coconuts. So you are in an island that has coconuts. You can create a musical instrument from coconuts. You can play loud music and hopefully some ship far away will hear you. One of your teammates, her name is Ginger. She was able to rescue one of her bags. And in her bag are some clothes that are of a very bright colored fabric. You can make a flag out of it, hoist it on the island. And that's one more way for you to go ahead and signal people. So these are the options available. I'm going to give you about 7 minutes now. I'm going to put you in 5 to 7 minutes now. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. And what you will have to do is work out which of these methods you're going to use to, how are you going to rank them? What are you going to do first? What are you going to do second? Which one gives you the best option to survive from this island, survive and escape this island? Remember, it's a remote island. Remember, there may be rescue attempts going on and you have to find a way to survive. Okay. So that's the option. Let me quickly pull out the breakout rooms for you. I've created 2 breakout rooms and I'm automatically assigning you into those breakout rooms, 5 participants per room. So you'll have to go into those rooms, discuss 5 to 7 minutes, figure out what you're going to do. Don't worry about the 7 options. They are there in your phone. So you can refer to those 8 options and rank them. Everyone clear with the objectives? Yes. All right. Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Good then. Let me just quickly bring up a whiteboard. You should be able to see the whiteboard now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna leave the option. Okay, team 1. Do you want to share what your ranking was and why you went in that direction? I'll give you a couple of minutes in which to elaborate.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Share. Yeah.
So
Go on.
our first option is we need to write over here. You want to say?
No. You tell me. I'll write it so that it's clear for
Okay. So
everyone.
so our first option is to ask Ginger to use the fabric, the last one.
Okay.
Okay.
As you explain, as you share your ranking, also give a bit of an overview of why you
So
decided to put that
to
one.
us it was very easy one and the quick one to do. Okay. So we don't know whether will it be effective to that extent, but it is not going to take much time to do this particular task. And it is there is no other there is whatever things are available are there with us right there.
Right.
Okay, so that was the first option. The second option that we thought of was sending Mary Ann on the raft to search for help. Okay, then the third option was golf clubs. The fourth option was gold reflectors. Golf club. Fourth was gold reflectors. The fifth was creating musical instrument from coconuts. Then the sixth was spreading professor's fluorescent dye. Seventh was fluorescent dye. Seventh was rebuilding the control tower. And
Mhm.
eighth was repairing the ship.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. What was the idea? Okay, wait. Before we come to the ideas, then let's just get the other team as well, and then let's have a discussion around this.
So I will tell you why did we choose rebuilding tower and repairing the ship as a last option is because
Sure.
it is going to
Yeah.
take real time and we are not technical people. We don't even know. Let's say what's the problem in the control tower. So why should we waste time? That's where we rank them at the last. Okay. Marianne, again, the craft was available, and though the chance of getting some help is less, but that's a quicker one. Golf club, as we have it, we can mount them immediately. We may take some time to find out gold from the gold mines, but it will be a good source for indication to somebody else who can notice us. Okay. And then what remains, because it is daytime, we chose spreading dye as the third last option because by the time we do all these things, it will be evening or something like that. As we spread dye in the morning, it will be of no use. So we chose that as a third last option. And then what remains is musical instruments. That's how our sequencing was.
All right. Great. Good. Thanks, Amit. Team 2, Anita and team. Anyone from your team who wants to go?
So Rakshit, I put our ranking in the chat for you to
great.
just copy and paste it.
Oh, perfect. That saves a lot of time. Thanks, Parag. That's thoughtful.
And once you do that, I'll just give a quick explanation.
Sure. Yeah, done.
All right. So our thought was since we are sailing in an open water or a sea, like aircrafts, we would also be in touch with the like the Coast Guard or somebody on the radio. So the moment we lose that contact, people are going to start coming looking out for us. So we thought that it would be nice if we can make it easier for people to rescue us and locate us, which is why we went with the gold. Since it has high refractive index, we thought we can spread the gold around the place so that it can keep shining and people might get attracted to it. Then we went for the fabric, again the same principle, bright fabric. We thought we can make certain flags, that we can use the golf clubs to make flags, and wave to people. Then was a dye, because it was just a simple thing to do. Put it in the water, and since it's a fluorescent dye, again, will hopefully attract somebody who's looking for us from above the sky. And then we said, okay, we can possibly look at building a raft, then making a musical instrument to keep ourselves entertained. And then lastly, since we are not very technical, tower is something that we can look at, and repairing the ship. But hopefully by the fourth one, we should be rescued.
Yes, hopefully by the fourth one, you should be rescued. Okay. All right.
So we're giving ourselves about 8 hours of time
Okay.
of sunlight. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, I'll leave this to you. How do you debrief an activity like this? You are all experts here. So how would you go ahead and debrief an activity like this? What would you use it for? What would you use a game like this for?
So
Decision
Rakshit,
making.
Decision
sometimes I
making.
use a similar game,
Mhm.
especially when you look at groups and the decision-making part.
Mhm.
Especially, you have three pitfalls of group, which is group think, group shift, and things like that.
Mhm.
So, uh, like for example, I'll just give you our own example. I said gold as a first option, but some of the
Right.
group members said that no, it will take time, etc., etc. So I did not put my foot down. So
Right.
sometimes how the group norms can influence an option which is good to probably give away or overlook that. So these kind of things that I can look at to debrief while I'm playing this game.
Right. 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 Oh, good. Thank you. That was Amit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thanks. Thanks, Amit.
I use some similar games for even negotiation. So
Oh,
they
nice.
can be good for negotiation as well.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Parag.
It's a fair point.
And I think you can also use it to see how people can influence. Like, for example, like Amit was talking about, you give in. So why is it that the person is giving in? Or, how is it that the other person can make you come on to his side? So those observations can also be got through these games.
Right. Fair point.
Part can be.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mainly for team building exercise where we can communicate, a better communication and negotiation skills can be improved here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fair enough. We actually use this game, and it's like I said, it's a very old game. I think it was created in the 70s or 80s. We use it in primarily in sessions on consensus building or team building, where we have one more round in the game. Essentially, is that you've created team A, you have created your list. Team B, you have created your list. Now work together to create a common list. Figure it out and create a common list. That's a third level that we add
Yes.
to the game.
Yes. I also do one thing, Rakshit. Not this, but there is another game similar where I give them some, after they've made their first list, which I ask them to do individually.
Right.
I provide them with certain. So there are multiple rounds. The first round is an individual round, then a team round. The third round is where I provide them some data around each of the objects and how they can be used, a secondary use sort of say. So they use that data to again refine their ranking. And then the fourth one is again with the team, a larger team. So there are actually 4 rounds that they go through. And of course, there is a scoring around it and all of that. So what they see is that the scores keep on moving down, which means there is less deviation from what is actually expected. And then it very nicely brings on the point of working with others and getting more ideas and those kind of things.
Makes sense. Perfect.
And data usage.
Yes. Thanks, Parag.
I also do it on a similar way, though I don't do it for 4 rounds, but I definitely make sure that I do. So first is individual, second is within the group, and third is the larger group.
Right. Okay. Good. My one submission here, when you're using activities like this, now, fortunately here for us, I think probably because all of you are trainers and facilitators, the group starts speaking. The group starts discussing in a virtual environment, right? In a breakout room. One of the challenges that tends to happen in groups that are not familiar with each other is that they don't speak up. In a classroom environment, they happen to speak up much more openly than in a virtual breakout room, because even in a breakout room, none of them have their videos on. Almost everyone's video is off. And so there is no connection, which means your role as a facilitator becomes a little more crucial. You will have to keep switching between breakout rooms the way I was doing. I was in one program early on. When we had attended a training on how to do virtual sessions, and we were kind of auditing someone else's program for them. And we noticed the facilitator there was using a method that they tend to use in a classroom environment, which is to go and observe. But what happens is, if the group is not discussing enough, or if the group is not discussing correctly, then the observation serves no purpose. In that, you have to kickstart the discussion sometimes for them, and then leave once they are a little more comfortable. So that becomes a big part of your role as a facilitator. One of the ways we used to do that is to ask a leading question within the group. What we were trying to do yesterday is to nominate someone as a leader, and nominate someone as a note taker, nominate someone as a as a person who goes on to suggest new ideas. So creating those roles within groups kind of allows those participants to speak up more, and your role as facilitator keeps switching between these breakout rooms, and reminding them to take those roles seriously. That is one way in which we found breakout room facilitation to work. If you have a shy audience, if you have an audience that is speaking up like you are, then there is no problem. Of course, your role becomes that much more easier.